All of us living in the modern world have some notion of the fabled fang creature. What pops into your head when you hear the word vampire? Fangs, wooden stakes, garlic, Robert Pattinson. Depending on your access to pop culture and your fascination with everything horror and gore, you must have a preconceived idea of what vampires are like. From the horribly misshapen creatures of European folklore to the insanely beautiful modern-day heroes, there is one trait common in all vampire interpretations. They all consume the vital life essence of the living, blood. The reference to these mythical entities isn't something new. It has been recorded in cultures around the world for centuries in one form or another. The Romanians have strigoi, the Greeks have Raikalakos, and the Albanians have striga. Some of the oldest civilizations, like the Mesopotamians and Hebrews, have folklore including demon spirits that can be considered modern-day vampires. In this video we look at 5 of the scariest yet logical reasons why vampires may be real, even if they aren't what you think. 1. Individuals throughout history have been described as vampires. The Romanian prince Vlad Dracula is a famous historical figure who is believed to be the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula. He was Transylvanian-born royalty whose sadism and bloodlust were widespread across countries. He is estimated to have been the cause of the deaths of 80,000 plus people in his lifetime, most of whom were impaled. Elizabeth Bathory, a 17th-century Hungarian countess, is reported to be a believer in the fact that drinking the blood of young girls will preserve her youth and beauty. A sneak into vampire history also reveals characters like Peter Plagajoides, Jerry Grando, and Arnold Pale, who were believed to be vampires. 2. The curious case of Mercy Brown. Mercy Brown lived in Exeter, Rhode Island, in the late 1800s. Many of her family members, including herself, were afflicted with tuberculosis, called consumption at the time, and was considered a devastating and much feared disease. In 1891, she, along with her mother and sister, died from the disease. Friends and neighbors of the family believed that one of the dead family members was a vampire. Villagers, a local doctor, and a newspaper reporter exhumed the bodies, and Mercy Brown's body was found to be in perfect condition with no signs of decomposition. This was taken as a sign that the young woman was undead. As superstition dictated, the townspeople cut out her heart, burned it, and fed its ashes mixed in water to create a tonic to feed her sick brother, who also passed away 2 months later. Mercy Brown's case still remains one of the best documented cases of exhumation of a corpse to prevent the undead rising. 3. Highgate vampire hysteria. There are stories of a dark figure with blood-red eyes on the loose in London's Highgate Cemetery. Back in the 1960s, this was a time when interest in vampires was high, thanks to movies and TV shows. So after the sightings were reported in the local newspaper, people started to believe that it could be a vampire. Resultantly, a mob of self-proclaimed vampire hunters broke into the Highgate and mutilated the bodies by driving wooden stakes into the chest. Many popular horror stories like Tales from the Crypt and Taste the Blood of Dracula were inspired by the Highgate vampire and even filmed within the cemetery. 4. The surprisingly high number of vampire burial sites. People who were unaware of the body's decomposition process or who accidentally buried comatose people went to brutal extremes to keep the dead from returning to life, which makes the legend of vampires live and breathe even today. Numerous medieval burial anecdotes prove that locals of the time were afraid of the dead rising. Many burial sites were discovered all across Europe, where skeletons were found with implements stuck in them. Some of the skeletons had stakes or iron rods pierced in the chest, while others were weighed down with slabs, rocks, and bricks. 5. Renfield syndrome. Even though not listed as a valid diagnosis in medical journals, there might be a medical name for people who behave like vampires. Clinical vampirism refers to an erotic obsession with blood, while Renfield syndrome is an eating disorder that makes people crave living animals like rats and bugs. Many contemporary people too are into blood-sucking. Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly's engagement details shocked people. Here is what she has to say about the incident.
Just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood.
It's just a few drops. But yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. With all these slightly varying descriptions, isn't it hard to believe that the stories might have some facts based on truth? Comment down below and let us know what you think about vampire.